Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Wellness Chats with Nisha for the Stigma-Free Society. Amazing to have you all here joining us today. I have a wonderful person I'm interviewing today, and why don't I introduce her in a minute? But I just want to say thanks for joining us on the Stigma-Free Society. We're all about creating inclusive conversations where people can share their experiences and that we can know that we're all in this together. And it's just really my pleasure to help bring these stories to you. And I think they have a lot of meaning in people's lives. So with that, I would love to introduce Rebecca. Oh, wait, almost lost it here. Technology. Here we are. Rebecca Steinhubl. Is that correct? Steinhubl?
Yes, you nailed it. Way to go.
I'm happy with that. So Rebecca Steinhubl is the co-creator of You Are Collective. It's a cool name. So You Are Collective started as a way to create change and make a difference. And Rebecca and her partner, Michael, they've been living through their own separate mental health journeys and noticed an immense lack of support and understanding. So they use that, then they set their work using their own voices and empowering apparel to keep the conversation going surrounding mental health and illness. So now with their community partners, they're setting their sights on the hashtag 1 million campaign to help provide 1 million counseling sessions of all kinds across Canada. And I think that is just such a cool campaign. So interesting. Wow, Rebecca, tell us about, first of all, well, I don't even know where to start because there's so many cool things to talk about here. Why don't you start by telling us maybe a bit about yourself? Tell us about Rebecca and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, for sure. I never anticipated that I would be here where I am today. I guess that's probably a little obvious, but I grew up with two older sisters. My parents unfortunately separated when I was quite young, so I was around 10 years old when they shared with us that they would be getting divorced. And I mean, I didn't really know what to compare anything to. So to me, everything was well. It wasn't a huge undertaking, but that could have been my little self and my little mind just trying to push through everything. And so as I became older and, you know, really started to activate in life, I started to realize that I was carrying a lot more trauma around with me than maybe I had worked through. And so I lived, well, I still live with mental illness, but very undiagnosed, very untreated for many years of my life. And I didn't really ever let it stop me, or I say that I didn't. I always kind of got back up on the horse, at least that's what my counselor likes to say. And I didn't really give myself time, right? I didn't ever give myself the space to kind of move through what I was going through or feel what I was going through. So I always had something to move through, something else to go and keep myself busy. So I actually moved away for post-secondary, and I was going to become a TV anchor. I went for broadcast news. Yeah, and the program was great. It's school. It's not 100% of love all the time, but I never discredit what I learned there, and it's very valuable what I went through. But again, I was finding myself doing something I was supposedly loved and not being able to really feel that and not kind of feeling that normalcy around joy and passion work and things like that. And so
again,
I kept moving and kept getting on the horse, and it brought my partner and I to Kelowna.
Right, you're in Kelowna.
And yeah, that's kind of where things first unraveled, I say. I started really taking the time to look at what I was going through. we were talking about it kind of before this began, but Kelowna is a pretty beautiful place. Like, there's not a lot of things to complain about here. And so when I was working what I thought was my dream job and living in what was supposed to be a dream place and feeling like utter garbage, and not being able to get up in the morning, not being able to keep focus, having problems with like memory and appetite and things like that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm 20, 21 at that point. I don't want to keep doing this for the rest of my life. I don't want to keep like hitting the bottom and having to drag myself back up and not really having a resolution. So I actually ended up at a walk-in clinic, like a Medi-Center type scenario, because we had just moved to Kelowna. I didn't have a family doctor or anything like that. Yeah. And he was the most gracious and empathetic doctor I've ever, like, even beyond my family doctor, sorry, love her, but really? He was incredible. Like, you know, he let me cry about things I didn't even know I needed to cry about. We talked about my parents' divorce. Like, I'm this 21-year-old randomly in this doctor's office, and he's like, I got you. Yeah. And so by some sort of miracle, that was my kind of first instance with trying to get support. Wow. And he knew where to send me. There's a mental health walk-in clinic here in Kelowna. Wow. Yeah, downtown on Doyle Avenue, if any locals are watching.
Amazing.
And you walk in, it's self-referral. That's kind of the blessing and the curse. So you have to you have to really want to go in there and do the work. So I did. The next day, I found myself there, and they kind of chatted with me for a bit, and we decided to refer me to outside one-on-one counseling services. And it's kind of been a journey in itself from there. So a lot of working on my mental health, a lot of training and retraining patterns and different rewiring in my brain. Just now getting to a psychiatrist. So I had my first psychiatrist appointment the other week, which is pretty big news for me. And yeah,
it was, wrote about that on your website, right? There was a post about that. That's very cool.
Thank you very much. And yeah, so once I had kind of finished my first few sessions of counseling, I was feeling really good. I don't know if you've ever been to counseling before.
I have a counseling appointment later today. Like, I love counseling. I have been a counselor. I think it's so important. I wish that it was just mandatory as a human to have a counseling session at least once a month or every few months, like once a year at least, just so that you get that feeling or that taste of someone's listening to me and I matter and I have all these things I didn't even realize were going on with me. So yes, I 100% support counseling.
Yeah. And so that's exactly, what happened. And for a lot of people, it really only takes a session or two, and knowing that someone is hearing you, right? Being able to talk to that third party in a way that maybe you wouldn't talk to a friend.
Non-judgmental, you get a release there, you don't walk away feeling like, what did I just share or say? Because it's all safe.
Oh, yeah.
How do you know the difference? Like, how did you know when to see a psychiatrist versus a counselor? Can you tell people about that? It might help them make some choices.
For sure. So, like I said, the psychiatrist is very, very new to me. So based on my experience, a counselor to me is someone that I'm going to regularly, like weekly, if not maybe bi-weekly, especially when I'm going through times of crisis, that I'm going to talk to, and they are going to help me kind of really look within myself, and work on some tools and different things to help me move forward and help me keep moving through things. Whereas the psychiatrist appointment felt very much like more like a doctor's appointment almost. So very not like you're talking about your feelings and your emotions and what happened to you that day or within the last week. More, what are your symptoms? Kind of maybe what are the events that you've been going through recently? And then let's find you a solution or some other tools. So my psychiatry appointment ended with a prescription, whereas my counseling appointment would never end with any sort of medical. She's not licensed to. But my counselor is, at least in my experience, more about the talk therapy and the more holistic side of things, whereas my psychiatrist is kind of trying to find all the different tools, medical and pills included.
Yeah. And so sometimes I think people might need a combination of both, depending on what they're going through, what's happening in their lives at that time.
For sure.
I want to talk a bit about the You Collective.
Yeah.
So how did it come to be? And, what are your goals with it?
Absolutely. So like I said earlier, when I had gone through my first little bit of sessions and I was doing really well, I would share about it. I have my own personal blog, and so I was always kind of sharing what I was up to and was sharing a lot about my mental health journey and the really positive things that were starting to come out of it. And I was hearing more and more how much that was not happening for many other people. The journey that I had gone through was truly a blessing because people were waiting months for services, or they had no idea where to go. If they went to a Medi Center, it wasn't going to end that way.
It's not always that they're finding the right person that they're connecting with. What I'm hearing, like people aren't always finding the right person to connect with or knowing where to go or, even affording the services or even knowing like these are services that are so important that this is a priority.
Yeah.
How do I find the right person?
That's exactly so true. And those are the biggest barriers, at least that's what Statistics Canada says, is the affordability and the accessibility. So even if you did know where to go, 9 times out of 10, you can't afford it. So it was, really starting to like weigh on me, and to realize that other people weren't able to get this kind of like this breath of fresh air, this break in what they were going through. And so my partner and I, we've always wanted to do something together, and we're always up talking and talking and talking, and mental health came up, and we're like, there's so many gaps, there's so many challenges, and of course there are organizations doing a lot of work, but not nearly enough organizations. So we started working on an apparel collection. We were really inspired by like Tom's Shoes and Tentry, who really married their passion and their movement with something visible, right? That people can be year-round wearing. It's there to help end the stigma. So yeah, we started with our first apparel collection and collaborated with a local youth mental health organization here, Foundry Kelowna, which I think you have some foundries down in Vancouver. Yeah. So proceeds from our first collection went to them to help with their counseling services there. And we've been able to grow and grow. So
example of like some of your collection?
Well, this is one of them.
Very cool. Strong. I love that. It's fantastic.
All of the, at least 10% of each item sold, we donate to our community partners. So we have a lot going on right now with how we're donating our funds, but it all goes through the 1 million campaign, which you so graciously shared about.
Yeah.
And we're trying to fund 1 million counseling sessions across Canada. So,
how does that come about? So, for example, someone can buy your apparel might say strong. It might say, what are some of the other ones that
Yeah. So we have strong and brave sweaters, but then we also have, well, we had our Pride collection, but it was limited edition, so it's gone now. But we have one of our really exciting new collections that I'm super in love with, and it's the Ask Me How I Feel tees. So it's based on the zones of regulation, which if you don't know about them, go to our website. We've got a whole little bit about them, but
I'm looking, that's really cool. I would even like to use that with my kids. Like you might be in the green zone, like, you know, depending on how you're feeling. And it's just a good way to have a conversation with someone about like where you're at.
That's exactly it. We wanted it to be an easy barrier breaker, basically. And so, yeah, it's been really, really special to see.
What's your website that people can like find some of these, you know, some of this information?
www.youare, so urcollective.ca.
So at youarecollective.ca, they can find the apparel that you have. Like that sweatshirt's so cool. Like I would love to wear something like that. And it just has so much meaning, and it's helping people. And on that website, you also have, you know, information about, like you were saying, like what color zone are you in, and just to talk about your feelings. You have personal blog where you talk about what you've gone through and your experiences, and then like just really lots of good information, right? And just personal sharing. And with the hashtag 1 million campaign, so when people are purchasing that apparel, then 10% of that money will go to what? Like you will give it to a counseling place, or how does it go to create those like counseling sessions available for people?
Great question. So with different collections usually come different partnerships. So depending on which collection you purchase from, you could potentially be supporting a different variety of counseling places. So right now, for example, this sweatshirt is in support of Connect Counseling. So anytime you purchase, the money from these sweaters will go to help their men's trauma program, which has no consistent funding. So we're hopefully able to get some more men the help that they need. And then with our Playful Healing collection, it's in support of free child therapy, a free child therapy program through Childhood Connections. So lots of really exciting different things going on there. But if you click on any of the products, we make sure to be like as clear and transparent as possible about where your hard-earned money is going, because I completely understand what that's like, and we are beyond grateful anytime an order rolls through. Like the fact that you believe in us and want to support our movement is incredible. So just know that anytime an order rolls in, like we're seeing it and we're doing a little happy dance.
Oh, I'm doing a happy dance right now just thinking about this. Such a great idea. It's so powerful. And just when you even mention like where like 2 of those programs that money might go towards, right away that creates like this meaningful connection, because then I can picture, yes, those kids that need that support, or those men who maybe society has just said deal with your stuff, but not said like how, or shared with them like what they can do. So like everyone needs support. And I just always picture, you know, the family unit, like how can we support everyone within the family, everyone within society, within a community, so that they can feel their best and then bring their best selves to like every interaction. It's just beautiful. So what inspired you to start the You Are Collective? Like how did you even get into apparel and know that that was the area you want to be in? Are you into fashion? Are you like, what was it?
Great question. Really no huge background into it, so I'm sure all apparel designers will hit me for this. But yeah, I get like it was just a inspiration from the idea that, you know, we can really take what we are passionate about and run with it and survive off of it while making an impact. And so there are definitely a few ways around that. But I think one of the biggest things was when I was doing my blogs, before You Are Collective came to be, one of the biggest things, at least for me, was like giving people love. Like I love to share compliments and, you know, give people value and talk about, you know, their character, not their appearance and those kind of things. And so I was doing a lot of, you know, you are beautiful, you are this, you are that. And so that's really the meaning behind You Are Collective, is that we all together need to make up this collective in order to end the stigma and keep the conversation going. And we all have these special values. So you are strong, you are brave, you are loved and worthy, and all those really, really special and important characteristics that maybe we aren't reminded of when we're going through mental health challenges or mental illness. That we really, really want you to know. And that's kind of the bottom line of You Are Collective, is that you are not alone.
So beautiful. It's so meaningful. What are some of the responses of people? Because I can just imagine, you know, like I'm already picturing myself put on my You Are Strong sweatshirt, right? And just like how it would make me feel for that day, or what, you know, as I'm walking around, the energy that would be around me because of what I'm wearing. So have you heard of people talking about it, or even of yourself, how it changes how you feel or how others feel or interact?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's been kind of beyond what we ever even thought or hoped for. Yeah, so with me, at least, I really do use it as a tool. Like it really is a self-care tool for me. If I need to be brave or if I need to feel strong, like I throw this on, I'm like, okay, let's go. Like this is, here we go. And actually another one of my really favorite stories is an individual bought a sweater, and said that their big thing was bravery, right? And so whenever they have to go kind of do something that they're maybe not super jazzed about or something like that, they're like, I get my partner to hype me up, and they're be like, you are brave, you got this, you're so brave, like blah blah blah. And they were like, now I don't need to get my partner to do that. I can wear my sweater and I feel it. And I was like, oh my God, I love that so much. So
that's so amazing. It's so amazing, because you're right. Like sometimes I'll say to people, you know, take those sticky notes and put them on your mirror and say these things to yourself so that you feel good as soon as you wake up, because those self-talk moments, that is what is in us, right? So it's really how we talk to ourselves. So this is like a reminder, not just in the morning, but you can wear this throughout the day. So it stays with you. And then I could imagine it would be a cool thing that people would see you wearing and even maybe talk about it or have a reaction. Like, oh, cool sweatshirt, or like, you know, or they just probably even feel like, oh yeah, that person is strong.
Yeah.
Start like emanating out that energy.
Totally. That is so our hope, and kind of desire with the collections. The money is the cherry on top, that we're able to donate to these programs. What really inspires us and keeps us going is, yeah, that energy impact that we're trying to create, right? Which you actually said so beautifully. So thank you so much. But yeah, that idea that you're not alone, right? Because what if you saw someone wearing this on the street and you were wearing the same one? You know, like that's so cool. Yeah.
You're like, I get it. I get you. You get me.
Totally. And there's that. It's awesome.
It's amazing. And so sometimes you see people when you're walking down the street?
Yes, and often, like without even noticing, if I'll have like some friends over before COVID and all this stuff, we would all show up wearing like our same hoodie. We went camping in June with, I think, like a few other people, and they were all wearing the hoodie. And I was like, you guys, they're like, we didn't even do this on purpose. We just like the hoodie.
Wow. I can't wait to order mine. And so if people are interested in ordering, you can also go to You Are Collective on Instagram, I think, and then the link is to the website on there as well, youarecollective.com. And so, yeah, it's just super positive. You're making a difference, but it's like such a cool story, right? It's like you're helping yourself. You're also like living this, but then also making a career out of this and doing good for the community and for society. And so, you know, I love to say to people, your job, your career doesn't just have to be the thing that makes you money. It can also be the thing that brings you happiness. It can also be the thing that brings you meaning.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that I feel like I found that. I feel like you know, there's tons of life to come, and I know that. I don't want to be naive about that, but the fact that I get to do this every day while working on myself, and you know, it's being surrounded by this community too that has been so helpful. Like in almost a selfish way, I'm doing this for me because it really is such an incredibly supportive way to be working through what I'm working through. And Michael and I, my partners, say to each other all the time, like, if we wouldn't have started this, and if we wouldn't have been able to be honest with ourselves and our, you know, our people, we wouldn't have found our people. We wouldn't have found this community. So, you know, our group, I guess, has really changed since we started this, but in such a cool, I'm like, I get chills thinking about the people that we're surrounded by. So it's really
makes me so happy. And I think that, you know, I was just talking to someone earlier that this is the age of Aquarian, and it's all about like truth. And I think it's so important to live in your truth and to be yourself and to be honest about you and what you need and who you are. And then I think that the right people come together. The right people are drawn together to do good, be good, enjoy life together. And it sounds like you've really found that. And so you've accomplished so much. And what are kind of like your next goals of accomplishment?
Wow. That's always a question that I have problems with, being like looking far ahead. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we did have to kind of put a stall on quite a bit of our community events and different speaking things. And so moving forward, I would really like to get back into that. And it will look probably more virtual, but, you know, finding a rhythm that works for us and being able to share our message in a variety of different ways. So really looking forward to an exciting exclusive collection coming up in hopefully a couple weeks. So stay tuned.
Okay.
And really, like, this is now the time where I'm feeling excited to kind of reinvest and reinvigorate in what we've been creating so that we can really keep moving forward with a really strong foundation. So I'm excited to, kind of poke around and see how we can continue to expand and help more people, help find more community, get more people on board on the mental health bandwagon.
Yeah. Yes, because it affects us all. And it's something that is so important to talk about. And if you even wear it on a sweatshirt, that's creating a conversation. And it just helps people to, you know, feel more open and comfortable with, okay, this is what I experience. This is what I feel. This is what I go through. And then this is how I work through it. I think that's really important for people to share, you know? And so I think it's amazing what you're doing, and our collective. I'm excited about looking out for these sweatshirts when I'm walking down the street now. And I would love if somebody sees me wearing one day to be like, hey, I know what that's about, and let's talk about it. And so I just think this is fantastic, Rebecca. And thanks for joining us on the Stigma-Free Society to you know, talk about these things and also show people that there is a future, and you don't have to, you can embrace what you experience and who you are and talk about it, and that it's all very relevant and all very important, and that you can even create a career out of what you love by being who you are. So thanks for being this amazing example for not only the youth, but for everyone. It's just never too late. Like, go for what you love. So we're looking forward to seeing more from You Are Collective and you, Rebecca. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It was such a treat to come on. It has not been a super awesome week in my world. So this is really been awesome. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for even just like being here.
Thank
I know
you.
that especially you've had a challenging week, but thanks for being here and inspiring other people. And to everyone who's watching, thanks for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week, Thursdays at 11 Pacific Standard Time, Wellness Chats with Nisha for the Stigma-Free Society. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye, Rebecca.